A big acquisition happened that will also have a sizable impact on the gaming industry. The Game Awards are very soon. I got updates on what you can expect. I want to highlight a cool new game that was announced. I got this interesting envelope. So a ton to go over, a lot of gaming news. So good that you're joining the Sunday News Roundup. And let's go. You likely saw the news already. Netflix is buying Warner Brothers for $83 billion. Regulators will totally get involved, similar to what we saw with the Xbox and Activision deal. Like, you could argue that Netflix acquiring HBO Max is an even bigger move in the streaming space. The biggest streaming service has basically removed the third biggest streaming service and can add those IPs like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter and DC to their already huge lineup. And this will likely result in higher prices for us consumers if we want to watch those new shows. But yeah, I of course focus on the gaming news, and well, we learned that this deal also includes the Warner Brothers gaming studios as well. So NetherRealm, behind the Mortal Kombat franchise, who is likely, and hopefully fingers crossed, making a new Injustice right now. Avalanche Software, who is working on a single-player Hogwarts Legacy 2 and seemingly also a GTA Online style Harry Potter game, as a recent job listing indicates that they're also doing an online multiplayer RPG. Yes, this is luckily separate from Hogwarts Legacy 2. You've got Warner Montreal, which most recently did Gotham Knights, and according to reports from Bloomberg back in February 2025, was working on a pitch for a new game based on Game of Thrones, which would be awesome, but then of course still very far away. While Rocksteady, according to that same report, is looking to return to Batman for a single-player game, but this is also still years away. Before that, we get the Lego Batman game that is looking surprisingly good from TT Games, and they are seemingly also already working on a new Lego game in very early development. So they are also part of Warner Brothers Games, so will now be owned by Netflix. Monolith Productions, behind the Mordor games, is of course no more RIP, but Warner did still own the rights to the Nemesis system. Hard to think that something will now happen with that, but yeah, Netflix now owns that too. But the overall thing is, does Netflix still have the ambition to continue the development of these titles? In their announcement, gaming was not really mentioned at all. In a perfect world, they might shop around and maybe sell these developers to other gaming parties like a Sony, who then maybe has to license the IP that studio is working on. Of course, just pure speculation. Now, Netflix has been trying to break into games for a while, but not on this AAA level. So I would not be surprised if something will happen with this gaming part of the deal, if the deal of course goes through. Now let me know what you think in the comments. I will of course keep you posted here, as we might get another plot twist with Paramount now rumored to consider a hostile takeover of Warner to combat the Netflix deal. And yes, I talked about Lego Batman. It now has a rumored release period for April or May. I can totally see that happen, and this could then totally be revealed at the Game Awards. Because yes, this coming week is the event. I want to give you a final news update here before the show airs on December 11th. We at least now have a 100% confirmation that the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake won't be at the show, so don't hold your breath for that one. We do have confirmation of things that will be present, as the developers behind The Ascent, Neon Giant, will be revealing their new game during the Game Awards. It's a first-person open-world game with a cyberpunk setting running on Unreal Engine 5. I'm totally keeping my eye on this one. Now, Invincible Versus will reveal an all-new character and a release date on December 11th. Capcom will also be there with a so-called terrifying new look at Resident Evil Requiem. I believe that it will be a terrifying look for sure. And Pragmata, the new puzzle shooter from them, has been rated, which usually means a release is close, like 3 months away max. For comparison, Romeo is a Dead Man, the new game from Grasshopper, was also just rated, and we now know it's coming February 11th. So maybe an early February release date for Pragmata is happening too. Moving on to some new rumors for the Game Awards, we have a very credible leaker, Kurakase, saying that a big Star Wars game announcement is coming very soon, which seems to line up with a rumor that there's a Total War Star Wars game in the works. And well, the developers Creative Assembly just said that a truly special new Total War game will be revealed at the Game Awards. Things are lining up. Like, it's too early for a new Jedi game, and it has been confirmed that it's not Star Wars Eclipse or Zero Company. So I put my money on this new Total War Star Wars game. Then there are also the cryptic teases from Jeff, which then led to the Game Awards Twitter account posting coordinates, and people went there to find an actual statue looking kind of sick, and it even lights up at night. So we know it's at least not anything God of War, Elder Scrolls 6 or Diablo related, even though Diablo might still be at the show with a new expansion reveal. Jason Schreier knows what it is but doesn't want to report it, still saying that it's a good one though. Now also on his podcast with Kirk Hamilton and Manny Myers, it's called Triple Click, they noted that they are all three excited for this reveal, so that really makes me think it's something quite big. I saw people speculate it might be Larian related, from software. Maybe I'm getting a bit carried away, but at least it should be something fun, so I'm excited for that. What's in the envelope? Okay, let's take a look. My name is on it. As you might know, 007 First Light is one of my most anticipated games. It's just Uncharted, and I love the previous James Bond game as well. We haven't had an Uncharted in a long time. Basically, you've been handpicked for a mission of utmost importance, joining the 00 program for 007 First Light as an official recruit and ambassador. And this also means that I will be at the Game Awards on December 11th. So I'll be in the room. I'm very excited for it. So yeah, I will do a full rundown of the award show, of course, in the Sunday video. And on my socials, you can follow my trip to the award show. Again, it's going to be awesome being there. I never thought I would actually go there because, yeah, usually there are not a lot of like events around it. But now, thanks to IO, we can go. So that's exciting. Now, let's continue with more gaming news. We got way more to go over, including new IO Interactive information. So leave a like, that would really help me out, and subscribe, because I post one of these big gaming news roundup videos every Sunday. Let's do some quick shots. News stories I will go over quickly, starting with the Godslayer. Maybe you saw the gameplay trailer they dropped. There's also a cinematic trailer. Now the gameplay starts with our main character using some fire moves, but very quickly we see that he can control water as well and also has earth abilities. Yes, we're basically playing an avatar, or Elemencer as they are called here. It is open world, like this could be the open world Avatar RPG I've always wanted. It totally doesn't look as polished as some of the other Eastern games we've seen recently, but it also seems to be still some time before they will release it. It feels like every other week we get like a cool new game announcement from these Asian developers that just looks very cool. It has very cool gameplay concepts. Like, yes, I want to be this firebender, earth, and water master. You can also use an enemy's weapon or the environment to your advantage, which seems very scripted in this linear section, but hopefully it adds some creativity to the regular open world as well. Now let me know what you think. I'll be keeping an eye out for sure. It's coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. The Splinter Cell remake lives, as the game director who left 3 years ago, David Grivell, is now back to direct the project. He left in October 2022 to work on Battlefield 6 as a senior design director, then did some contract work, but is now back to lead the development on this remake. Ubisoft Toronto started working on this after Far Cry 6 at the end of 2021, so it has already been in development for a long time. So I always thought it would be launching in 2026 at the latest, but with them just getting their game director back and Ubisoft having a pretty big 2026 slate, I think a 2027 date is now more likely. We know it's being built on the Snowdrop engine, recently used for Avatar and Outlaws, and of course also used in The Division, so it will be a looker. I'll of course keep you posted here. So while IO Interactive is now working on 007 First Light, launching March 27th, they are not forgetting their own premier franchise, Hitman. The M&M crossover is out now, and they'll be talking about Hitman co-op next year. That should add some interesting mechanics and combinations. I've no doubt they will think of some creative implementations, but that will not be the end, as the IO Interactive CEO basically confirmed that there will of course be a proper Hitman 4 as well. Now they're quite busy, as they also have plans for a 007 trilogy if First Light does well, and are working on a fantasy co-op game. So lots happening at the Danish studio. Let me know if you look forward to any of of their upcoming projects in the comments down below. PlayStation announced a deal with Bad Robot Games to produce and publish the studio's first internally developed game, and this is an unannounced 4-player co-op shooter directed by Mike Booth, a big name behind the Left 4 Dead. So it's likely going to be very similar to that co-op shooter. Now I clicked around on LinkedIn and we've got the game director who joined the studio in July 2023. So the game has been in the works for more than 2 years already, and they have a digital media content specialist for 11 months who is preparing gameplay and screenshots. So maybe they will reveal it at the Game Awards. I can totally see that happening. So this is another one of Sony's live service type games that they're pushing. I'll of course keep you posted here. We got a very interesting rumor roundup. Here I look at the biggest leaks and rumors of the week and rate them with stars, with 3 being I believe it and 1 being let's take this with a huge grain of salt. So we got updates on Eidos Montreal. You can know them from Deus Ex, most recently the Guardians of the Galaxy game, but they also did Shadow of the Tomb Raider in 2018. And well, now, according to a new rumor, the team behind that project started working on an ambitious open-world action-adventure third-person game in 2019, so after Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and this is scheduled to release next year. Tom Henderson did not want to say what the title of the game is, but it's supposed to be an internal beta right now, almost finished, so that's pretty huge actually. They also own the Thief franchise, so maybe it's an open-world Thief game, but third-person. Deus Ex was cancelled, like that is on ice, that is not happening. Or maybe they're doing another licensed project. Let me know if you have any thoughts in the comments. I give 2 stars. Like obviously Tom Henderson has a great track record. I totally think this game is in development, but I could see things shifting around so that it doesn't come out in 2026. I mean, it can happen, but seems ambitious right now. Maybe we see it at the Game Awards, like that would be a perfect candidate, you would think, right? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Because yes, this coming week is all about the Game Awards on December 11th. I'm really expecting a fun show. We'll of course, again, give you the highlights and tell my experience of attending in next week's Sunday video. So hope to see you there. We're also getting a Where Winds Meet update on the 11th that will add a brand new zone to the game, continue the main story. Set a reminder for my weekly Monday stream by clicking on the screen. I hope to see you there. Subscribe, leave a like, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.